Welcome to the Quotive Corner. Whether you're stepping into your morning, navigating the middle of your day, or winding things down tonight, I'm glad you're here. Let's slow things down and examine a quote that draws a sharp line between two qualities we often assume naturally belong together. Integrity without knowledge is weak and useless, and knowledge without integrity is dangerous and dreadful. That line is attributed to Samuel Johnson. And if you know anything about Johnson, you know he did not speak lightly about morality. He lived in 18th century England and became one of the most respected literary figures of his time. His dictionary alone was a monumental achievement, but beyond scholarship, he was deeply concerned with character. Johnson understood something that still applies today. Intelligence and morality do not automatically travel together, and when they separate, trouble follows. Let's take the first half. Integrity without knowledge is weak and useless. At first glance, that might feel harsh. Isn't integrity enough? Isn't good intention sufficient? Not entirely. Integrity means moral uprightness. It means honesty, consistency, alignment between belief and action. But if integrity is not paired with understanding, it can become ineffective. Imagine someone with strong principles but little awareness of how the world works. They may mean well, but their influence will be limited. They may misjudge situations. They may apply rigid standards without nuance. They may lack the tools to translate their values into constructive action. Integrity alone doesn't guarantee impact. Good intentions without competence can fail the very people they aim to help. Now, that doesn't diminish integrity. It elevates knowledge. Because knowledge strengthens integrity. It equips it. The second half of the quote is where Johnson becomes especially direct. Knowledge without integrity is dangerous and dreadful. That lands harder. Knowledge is power. That phrase is repeated so often it sounds almost cliché, but Johnson understood the darker side of that power. Knowledge gives leverage. Knowledge gives influence. Knowledge gives capability. And if those capabilities are not restrained by integrity, they can cause immense harm. History gives us countless examples. Brilliant minds applied to destructive ends. Technological advancements used without ethical guardrails. Intelligence weaponized for manipulation. Even in everyday life, knowledge without integrity can distort. A skilled communicator can persuade dishonestly. A capable leader can exploit trust. A knowledgeable professional can cut corners undetected. The more knowledge you have, the greater the potential damage if integrity is absent. That's why Johnson pairs the two so deliberately. Integrity without knowledge lacks strength. Knowledge without integrity lacks safety. What he's describing is balance, and balance requires formation. We often celebrate intelligence, degrees, titles, expertise. We spotlight the acquisition of knowledge as the ultimate achievement. But character formation receives less applause. Integrity develops quietly. It's tested in small decisions long before it's tested in public moments. It grows through discipline, not display. And yet without it, intelligence becomes unstable. Think about modern society for a moment. We have access to more information than any generation before us. Knowledge is abundant, but wisdom, the disciplined application of knowledge, feels rarer. Why? Because wisdom requires integrity. It requires asking not only can I, but should I? It requires restraint. It requires moral courage. Johnson lived in a time when moral philosophy and intellectual inquiry were intertwined. Scholars debated not only what was true, but what was right. That integration feels less common today, but it remains necessary. Now let's bring this down to something personal. Where in your life are you developing knowledge? Are you pairing it with integrity? And where are you leaning heavily on integrity? Good intentions, strong values, but perhaps neglecting the pursuit of understanding? Because growth requires both. If you aspire to lead, you must cultivate competence and character. If you seek influence, you must strengthen both clarity and conscience. And here's something quietly reassuring about this quote. It doesn't suggest that one quality is superior. It suggests they are incomplete without each other. You don't need to choose between being knowledgeable and being principled. You need to commit to both. That commitment takes time. It takes humility to admit what you don't know. It takes discipline to live consistently with what you do know. It takes courage to align the two when it's inconvenient. But that alignment produces stability, and stability builds trust. When people trust your competence and your character, influence becomes sustainable. Without one or the other, cracks eventually show. Integrity without knowledge may struggle to lead. Knowledge without integrity may not deserve to. Samuel Johnson's warning feels old-fashioned in tone, but modern in relevance. We are not short on information. We must not be short on character. Thanks for spending a few minutes here at the Quotive Corner. If this reflection sharpened how you think about intelligence and integrity, share it with someone who values both. And remember, wisdom isn't in the quote, it's in the reflection. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.